One brutally hot Saturday morning, Erin Corwin kissed her Marine husband John goodbye and told him she was going out for a hike. She never came home. John waited until the next day to report his pregnant wife missing. He asked her best friend, Aisling Maliki, if she knew anything.
He came downstairs, knocked on my door, and said, "Do you know where Erin is? She went out to Joshua Tree yesterday, and she hasn't returned since."
Erin told her husband, John, she was scouting out scenic vistas in Joshua Tree National Park because her mom, Laura, was coming to visit.
John called me that Sunday morning and said that Erin's missing. And I'm like, "What do you mean Erin's missing?" And he said she went out to the park to look for places for you guys to take pictures. One of my first thoughts is she's lost because she's very directionally challenged.
And shortly after Erin drove off, the Marine who lived upstairs was also leaving for Joshua Tree. Chris Lee told his wife he was going coyote hunting. But Aisling says her husband wondered, why is Lee loading a propane tank in the back of his Jeep?
He saw the propane tank in the back of the Jeep, and he had asked what he was gonna do with it. And I believe Chris's response was that he was gonna blow up a mine shaft. So he was gonna either shoot it or light it on fire. He was the type that he liked to build weapons and build knives and blow things up.
But Erin's story about hiking and Lee's story about coyote hunting were lies to cover up a secret rendezvous.
They all started out as just friends, but then they started to become more. And I didn't realize how much more they had become until I caught them in my living room.
Erin and Lee were having a love affair. But that morning, no one in the base housing saw them together. Lee returned home around 4 p.m. Erin never did. The next day, her husband John reported her missing, and the search was on. Helicopters, the U.S. Marines, and search and rescue dogs scoured Joshua Tree National Park.
We've had days of over 115 degrees. I don't know what the temperature was today, but it's extremely hot, dehydrating for our volunteers.
It's 1,200 square miles of wilderness, an area slightly larger than the state of Rhode Island, filled with beauty, beasts, and abandoned mine shafts. A place where someone could easily get lost. But searching is like trying to find a needle in 1,000 haystacks.
The places they were looking frequently, they'd have to take a helicopter to get to, because driving would take hours and hours and hours. And they felt like if they had civilians out there, then they'd be out looking for the civilians that got lost that were looking for her.
Investigators quickly find Erin's car parked in the gravel off a dirt road just outside the base. One clue definitely catches their eye. Footprints leading to tire tracks made by another vehicle.
We are also looking at it as a potential criminal investigation, so we don't want to destroy any evidence that we may be able to recover.
Cops zero in on John because he waited until the next day to report Erin missing. After an investigation, he is cleared of any involvement. But they soon discover texts between Erin and a friend named Jessie from her hometown of Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
They talk to Jessie and find out that Erin's supposedly going out into the desert with him.
The him in the text? Chris Lee.
So it kind of put up a red flag, and then that's when this other deputy said this is more than a missing person case.
In those texts, Erin said she thought Lee was going to propose. After all, he supposedly knew she was carrying his child. She wrote, "Seriously, I don't know why he would drag me to a very special place for a big dumb surprise." Her friend asked if he was going to pop the question. Erin replied with lots of exclamation marks. Maybe. Yet no one really knew for certain if the baby was Lee's. Either man cops believed could have motive to want her gone. Aisling says Lee talked about killing like it was a big joke.
Chris said that he was gonna hide a body and would snap necks. You know, you could put the body down, cover it with dirt, and then put the coyote on top and bury that. So if they ever came across it, they would dig it up and think it was just someone coyote hunting. I don't have any other friends that talk about how they're gonna hide a body or how they're gonna kill somebody. I watch crime shows, but I never sit there and think, oh, that would be a good way to kill somebody, or that would be a good way to get away with murder.
San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies bring Chris Lee in.
I thought I was in love with her, but it was just that make-believe.
Under their relentless questioning, he admits to only one thing: the affair.
Over time, we started getting closer, having longer conversations, and then we kissed a few times at her place, and then my wife, she found out, and she blew up, and she told John. And
how many times did you guys kiss?
4 tops.
Okay. So you guys kissed 4 times. Did anything else happen other than kissing?
No.
Okay. Any touching, groping?
Maybe some hands up and down where we're kissing, but nothing real heavy.
Okay.
Nothing under clothes or anything like that.
Lee claims they hooked up after Erin told him her husband John was abusive.
She was in a bad relationship, and she said her husband was beating her and choking her, and she was scared for her life. And I guess she didn't lie to me, she didn't lie to John, didn't lie to her friends.
Lying to you about what?
When she was in a bad relationship, that it was all John's fault.
There's no evidence that John ever was abusive to Erin, and he denies Lee's outrageous claim. And Lee denies even talking to Erin that day, or even that month, claiming they broke it off after his wife caught them.
Me and Erin just, stopped talking.
Okay, so that was how long ago?
A month and a half ago.
Have you talked to Erin since that day?
No. I'd see her and John every now and then outside.
The detective doesn't believe him. He dramatically grabs Lee's bare knee.
Chris, I need you to tell me the truth. I need to know why you met with her.
They intensely stare each other down.
There's no reason to lie to me right now. There's no reason to lie to me right now.
I didn't see her on Saturday. I just saw her vehicle.
A second detective enters, and they ask him about Erin's pregnancy.
Because she was pregnant with your child.
She wasn't pregnant with my child.
Maybe you really don't know. I don't know. But that's what she's telling everybody.
We know that you were going to meet her on Saturday. We know that. We know that you were going to go take her for a long drive and it was going to be a surprise. We know those things. Okay? We know that you met with her on Saturday morning, the day that she went missing.
Now detectives drop a bombshell. They ask Lee about a Google search he allegedly did just before Erin went missing, a search on how to dispose of a body.
One of them said a fire, but then I got into this huge debate how it takes a crematorium 8 hours to dissolve or to completely dissolve a body. Right. Fires are really ineffective. The best answer that the form gave was to eat them.
Eat the person?
Mm-hmm.
Cannibalism?
Mm-hmm.
What Lee doesn't know, detectives have already matched the tires on his Jeep to the tracks found near Erin's car. But without a body, there's not enough yet to charge him with murder.
We have been searching nonstop for 8 weeks.
The chances of finding Erin alive are rapidly becoming slim to none.
An NCIS agent came to John's apartment and asked to speak with me, and they wanted to know what dentist we used so they could get dental records, which, that was rough. And I'm like, does that mean they found her, or are they just getting ready?
Erin is still out there, but where? Next, the search goes deep underground. Is this a case of murder? And the mine shaft. Searchers look through every single mine shaft to look for Erin Corwin's body.